Meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. We have yet another busy agenda and a few things going on that are of tremendous importance to us here today. Looking forward to talking a little bit about that. But before we get started, actually, the first thing of business I'd like to sort of address is the minutes. I assume my fellow commissioners have had a chance to review those, and if so, I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There you go. Minutes are approved. Moving forward, resolution number 29854.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a recommendation to award a contract to Burns McDonald Engineering for the Sea Lion Life Support Building. This is funded through the bond program, and of course, it's at the Kansas City Zoo. Earlier, we had done some work on the pool itself and a shade system, and this will be the final piece of the work for the life support building. Recommend approval. You have a memo in your packet from Travis Kiefer, and Travis is here if you have any questions.
Are there any questions of Travis? Travis, welcome back. We missed your last meeting. Any questions regarding this bid recommendation award? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Can I ask one question?
Yes, by all means.
Sorry. Travis, the engineer's estimate there, does that include the alternatives as well or not?
Typically, the engineer's estimate does not. Excuse me. Typically, the engineer's estimate does not include all the alternatives.
Does not, okay, that's what I was thinking. That's 1.5. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Okay, the resolution passes. The next resolution, number 29855.
Yes, Commissioners, we have before you a resolution for your consideration. As you're probably aware, we've been going through some major renovation over in Spring Valley Park and had the grand opening here a while back, and the park looks a lot better, and obviously there's been some support from the community along with some PIAC funds to make that happen. And as I think several of you are aware, Mr. Frank White, who played for, of course, the Kansas City Royals, lives in the area, grew up in the area, and we learned that day while we were there at the dedication that he played ball there, and he was telling us stories about the head of the doll of your sister. Is that became the baseball, I believe? And it's that I still remember that. And so we have a resolution for your consideration to name the Ball Diamonds in Spring Valley Park after Mr. Frank White.
Very good. Is there any sort of public comment that anybody wanted to sort of make? We'd love to hear from you, Mr. White, if you'd like to say just a few words. I don't know if you're sort of prepared to, but I hear you're pretty good on your feet. You're always good at second base, so I can tell you that.
Well, it's always good when you know what you're ducking, but but I just want to thank you all for this consideration. We started this a couple of years ago with Mr. McHenry and his staff, and along with Teola Powell and Myron Moore and Karen Slaughter from the Key Coalition. That's our neighborhood, and it's been one of the neighborhood associations that I think we've been a little behind, and so we're working hard to catch up and get on track. But the work that you guys did in Spring Valley Park is to be commended. I want to thank you guys for that. It was a great opening in May. Was well received by the community. We also had a huge Memorial Day family outing there, which went off really well. And I just really want to give you an idea of some of our plans with the park as far as usage. We've had some kids from the Kansas City, Kansas RBI. Their director, Clee Ross, is here. And one of our plans, I was in hopes of having someone from the Kansas City, Missouri RBI here today also. But our hopes is next May, on Frank White Day there, is hosting a tournament between the two RBI programs. So just add a little spice to it and really just continue to use the parks, because we have to use them. And this is one of our ways of trying to not only use them for that event, but to open them up for practices for the KCK RBI when they're on this side of town, and hopefully get some more support from Parks and Rec, some of their activities for softball, things like that. So, but again, thank you very much. It's a great honor. I think it's great for our community, great for the children of our community to be able to go there and see a name that they can do some research on and understand that I wasn't what I consider a silver spoon athlete coming in. I was a guy who went down and said, I need a chance. And the Royals gave me that chance with their baseball academy, and it was up to me at that point to make the best of that opportunity. So what our hopes is that a lot of our kids will seize this as an opportunity to know that you don't have to be at the top of your game at that time, but just keep working hard for an opportunity. And when you get it, then definitely try to make the best of it. So thanks again. Thanks to you guys, Key Coalition, for your support in this special day. And I'm very humbled, and I'm running out of things to say. But thank you all very much. I definitely appreciate it. And if I can be of any service to any of you at any time, please don't hesitate to call. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so with that, I will ask unless, is there any other public comment at this time? All right, seeing none, yes.
I'd like to make a comment. Frank, you've been a tremendous influence to the youth of the city and a fantastic ambassador for this city and what it's all about. And this is a very small way of showing our appreciation and our thanks for everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from fellow commissioners?
Yeah, I'll say it. I'd like to echo that. What you've done for the city is absolutely incredible, and it's really neat having the All-Star game coming here, because then we can relive all of this again. And I was talking to my brother last night on the phone and told him about this, and he was like, so how many gold gloves did he win? And I said, I think he won 6. And then we found out, looked up on Wikipedia, he'd won 6 in a row, and then he actually won 8. And just an amazing career that I grew up watching you, and it was wonderful. It's just neat to have you here today, and we can do this. Thanks for all you do for Kansas City.
Okay. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
So it's been motioned and
Second.
seconded. Very good. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All right, very good. Resolution passes. Mr. White, if you don't mind joining us up here really quick, we have something we want to give you. And we all just want to take a picture with you, actually. That's the only reason why we did this.
Thank you so much.
From us to you. We won't read that whole thing right now. We'll take it to thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So on to the, yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
Can I say something? I'm sorry.
By all means.
Teola Powell.
Yes.
And I am Vice President, Key Coalition.
Yes.
And I would just like to say, first of all, thank you to the board for your consideration in this. I too grew up in Key Coalition, and Frank and I were like 3 blocks from one another. He is an outstanding person, and we really appreciate what this board has done by giving us the opportunity in our neighborhood to honor our own.
Yes. Well,
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. With that, moving on to the next order of business, resolution number 29856. You guys don't want to stick around and testify on that one, you guys? All right, next one. We'll see you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you all.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a cooperative agreement with the Liberty Memorial Association. A little background on this, as you know, we've got some funding from the Main Street TIF to do the improvements. A lot of the work being done over there is on the stone work along Main Street and work on the memorial itself, the fountain, and a variety of things. And one part of that plan was to do some energy upgrades, and it seemed like the most logical way to do this is have P1, who does the mechanical, electrical work, and HVAC for the building right now, is to roll this into their contract.
Okay.
So this allows us to then reimburse them for that cost of $180,000 they're getting as part of that original Main Street TIF. And so the agreement then would allow us to do that. They would incur the cost and we do reimbursement.
Mark, would you just remind me one more time, our our contract renewal with them is,
It's in 20, yeah, I think it's 2014, I believe it is, yeah. I've got a couple more years on that,
That's
yeah.
what I thought.
And this would just be one separate item.
very good. Any other questions, Commissioners?
What specifically is being done?
What they're doing is they're adding some calibrating equipment, and they're also adding some opportunities so that, energy management system is you've got a boiler that heats the building, then you've got a cooling tower that cools the building. So those are both part of the mechanical system. But it creates what I almost call a smart system. In a very minor role, it's like a thermostat. I mean, a home would be like a small thing. But obviously, with a large facility like that, it's much more than that. So it recalibrates the equipment and then adds some computer modules and calibration equipment. So it gets a more efficient use so that your boiler would obviously not have to work as hard in the winter and your cooling towers wouldn't have to work as hard in the winter months. And there again, that requires equipment calibration. And so it's done by the company that would do that. And that was something that we had suggested originally through the TIF funding is we're trying to save energy. So this will lower their utility bill, and this is what will happen. That's the ultimate goal here.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution number 29857.
Yes, Commissioner, this is an item on cost recovery for our community centers that was presented at a pre-board, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, by both Sherry Van Winkle and Mark Boland. We bring it back to you today for your consideration in the form of approval through a resolution. You have the document in front of you, and if you have any questions, Sherry is here to answer those.
Are there any questions of Sherry at this time regarding this issue? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29858.
Yes, Commissioner, this is a appropriation to special gifts fund. It's a resolution to allow us to utilize the funds that are donor designated throughout the next upcoming fiscal year and probably a little beyond. And Sherry, could you give us a little background on this and kind of the genesis behind this?
Certainly. The Parks and Recreation Special Gifts Fund is established by charter. It allows us to accept donor gifts for a variety of purposes throughout the system, park system. And we really already have cash in the fund. Lots of times we get money for endowment. A good example is the Ward family, as you know, gives us money every year to help us maintain Luce Park and Gillen Park and a variety of parks. That's one example. Our developers allotment contributions are also maintained within our Parks and Recreation Special Gifts Fund. And what this ordinance actually does is it actually allows us to appropriate the funds. We have the cash, but in order to spend money in government, you have to have an appropriation. And so periodically, we have to come back before the board and say, well, we have money in this fund, but in order for us to spend any of this money, we have to get this appropriation on the books. It's kind of an accounting thing. Normally, we go through the city council to get an appropriation, but in this case, because the funds are given directly to Parks and Recreation, you have it within your purview to appropriate the funds whenever it is necessary.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29859.
Yes, Commissioner, this is consideration of a licensed facility use agreement for concessions with the American Rose Society, or for, of course, it's the Kansas City Rose Society at Luce Park for the second annual Wine and Roses. Shannon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. McHenry. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to introduce Arlen Sylvie. She's with the Rose Society of Kansas City. Come on up here. This could be the second annual. Hopefully there'll be third, fourth, and fifth. But she's got some details from last year on their success and talk about this year's.
Very good.
Arlen?
Thank you. I'm going to pass this around. This might jog your memory
Oh,
from
yes.
Yes.
last year's invitation.
Sure.
As Shannon mentioned, the Kansas City Rose Society would like to host the second, which will hopefully be annual from now on, Wine and Roses fundraising event at the Rose Garden. This will be Thursday, October 4th from 5:30 to 7. The purpose, or what we hope to accomplish, is to draw people into the garden at this beautiful time of year and raise awareness of the Kansas City Rose Society and its partnership with the Parks and Recreations Department promote our Pillar and Pergola project, which is a capital campaign. We hope to start raising about $400,000 for improvements in the Rose Garden, and also to increase membership. We plan to mail approximately 600 invitations, as we did last year. Last year was the first event, and while the weather was beautiful, there were no excuses. We only had about 50 attendees. We hope to triple that and have at least 150 this year. Spaces Magazine has agreed to be a sponsor. We have a full-page ad, pending approval from the Parks Board, but they've agreed to be a sponsor, and we hope that in addition to the invitations that will really increase membership this year. Included in the $75 ticket price will be wine, appetizers, and the caterer this year, the Bristol has agreed to be our caterer. Chamber music as last year. Hopefully a very brief program to talk a little bit about the society and the projects that we have going on. And it also includes a raffle item, a ticket for a raffle item. There will be nothing sold in the park, just the tickets will be sold ahead of time. No cash at the door. The backup space in the event of rain will be Portfolio Kitchen and Home, which is down across the street from Union Station. It's a great event space. She's offered that up for us. And I think that's it. Any questions?
Any questions at this time? In terms of the proceeds from the event, could you just talk about what those dollars will be used for and the dollars that you raise?
They will go into a general fund at the Kansas City Rose Society, and as you may know, that we spend, everything that we raise goes into the improvements for the garden. We furnish all of the roses that go into the garden, all of the improvements. We furnish the fountain. We've raised over the last 10 years about $1.5 million. So everything goes to the garden and improvements in the garden.
Great. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions at this time? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29860.
Yes, Commissioner, this is a cooperative agreement for the Broadway Bridge, which is part of the Park and Boulevard system across I-670, which is also the J. Dillingham Freeway. And this agreement was worked on between the Public Works Department, Downtown CID, and Parks and Recreation. And Forrest Decker handled it for us, and Mr. Decker might want to give you a little bit more information and also answer any questions you might have.
Very good.
Afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
Yeah, as Mark said, this is basically a three-party agreement that really clarifies the responsibilities of each of the three parties. Ours are basically sidewalks and decorative LED lighting, maintenance and operation. But Public Works and the Downtown Council have specific responsibilities outlined in the agreement also. So.
Very good. Are there any questions at this time, Forrest?
Comments?
Any comments you'd like to make as well?
I just think this is neat that we're doing this. I just think we have such a growing arts community and everything we have here in town related to that. I think it's great that we're trying to do some of these things and not just building concrete structures. And I'm glad to see us involved in getting other people. It makes a win-win for everybody.
Yep.
So
Yep, very much
thanks
so.
for doing this.
Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion to second it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29861.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a consideration of memorandum of understanding to plant 100 fruit trees in Spring Valley Park. Of course, earlier we now have ball diamonds named after Mr. Frank White. Now we're going to have fruit trees.
And we're going to have fruit trees.
We have an improvement to Spring Valley Park, and Mr. Decker is here. Maybe you could give us a little more background, and I think you have some guests also, is that right?
We do have some guests, and I'm going to let them come up first and talk, and then I'll answer any question. We have Denny Hickson and Jim Glenn from the Metropolitan Lutheran Ministries. So I'll let you guys talk for a minute.
Thank you. We're grateful for the opportunity to contribute. We're a 41-year-old nonprofit in Kansas City. We've helped the poor and homeless with safety net, basic needs for many, many years. And we were asked to be stewards of this new orchard project, and that is providing maintenance and care for a 10-year period. And it's in our neighborhood, and and it benefits the greater neighborhood, the fruit it will develop and the pilot project it represents. And we hope to do more in terms of demonstrating and growing food as well as distributing food in the inner city. So this is a great project that we're grateful to participate in. And so that's why we're here today, and we're grateful to enter into this memorandum of understanding.
Any questions or comments? To me?
What happens if, like, the trees get sick, or, I mean, what if something goes wrong? What is going to happen?
We're sort of social worker folks, and we have limited expertise. But the good news is the city has expertise. We've been in contact with Lincoln University that has a presence here in town, with Missouri Department of Agriculture Extension, with Master Gardeners, and we hope to draw upon their expertise. We have a preliminary plan to, to spray routinely, and also we'll bring in folks if there's a blight or, difficulty, to help us with a treatment plan or a maintenance plan. And that's we just plan to use the expertise of our community to take care of them.
What's going to happen with the fruit?
The fruit will be for the community. It will either, and that's yet to be determined. We have come to learn that these trees won't produce fruit for perhaps 3 to 5 years, and so we have plenty of time to figure that out. But the food will go to people in the community that that need it. Mm-hmm.
What kind of fruit trees?
It's a variety. There are, as we understand, there are like apple and peach, and there's some blueberry trees and raspberry, like tree bushes. There are 100 that will go into 2 parcels separated by Highland between 28th and 29th. And we're not sure exactly, the full variety, but it will be trees that will grow and produce fruit in this area.
Okay.
I'd like to just say, MLM, in my experience of working with you, Jim, and your organization, you guys do a top-notch job of services. There's no doubt in my mind that you'll take this just as serious as you do on your social service side and make sure that this is a success. And so we're glad we're able to sort of support the work that you guys are sort of doing, and thanks so much for taking on this responsibility.
We appreciate your confidence, John Paul. Thank you.
With that, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a motion and a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution number 29862.
Yes, Commissioners, you have before you a resolution to move forward 4 projects under the STP, which is Surface Transportation Program, on the Mid-America Regional Council, which gives consideration to projects throughout the metropolitan Kansas City area. And the 4 that you have here are identified in the memo from Travis Kiefer. We'd recommend approval to advance these to Mark, and Travis is here if you have any questions.
Are there any questions of Travis? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
So motion is seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29863.
Yes, Commissioner, this is a parallel to the previous one. This is CMAQ, which is Congestion Mitigation Air Quality. Again, follows a similar process forwarded to the Mid-America Regional Council for consideration. And there again, it's regional, so there's competition with Kansas, Missouri for the allocation of these funds. And again, Travis here if you have any questions.
Any questions of Travis?
So these have to be in by very soon here. When do we hear about this?
Actually, it'll be, the deadline, I believe, was in June. The application deadline is June 22nd, but the important thing, the ordinance had already passed council, so this is a step that, to get the park board resolution to support these, because the match money was the big question, and so that showed, by the ordinance passing with these projects in there, it showed the commitment of council to recognize that match money needed to come up either through PIAC or through some other source, so.
Okay. And then when should we hear?
We should hear, it's typically in the fall that we hear on these projects. I don't have a date on that as far as whether it's September, October, so.
It's September, October, something like that.
This is kind of a starting point for
Yeah.
that presentation we had of Grand Boulevard.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, and it's, yeah, I think probably, I mean, I think it's tied into the federal fiscal year, so that's gonna get you about
And-
October, isn't it, I think?
Well, that, yeah, September is the end of the federal fiscal year, so.
Very good. Any other questions at this time? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29864.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a change order number 3. Swope Park Trails, DD Construction Company is the vendor. Would recommend approval. Again, if you have any questions, Travis is here.
Okay. Any questions of Travis in regards to this change order? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29865.
Yes, Commissioners, change order number 1, National Streetscape. This is advancing from our parking lot and trail improvements. The amount of the change order is, as you can see, $147,000, and identified 2 locations, a trail over at the Daniel Morgan Boone Park, which is just to the west here on 63rd Street, and then the rest of the work is going into Roanoke Park, and that was something that was presented to us. We met the group of neighbors that presented to them the master plan. Recommend approval. Again, Travis here if you have any questions.
Any questions for Travis or comments?
I do. What, like, how is this, can you tell me, like, how this is brought about, just because I just don't know, and, I mean, what's the trigger for getting the change order? They go through you? I just don't know, so I want to know.
Yes, typically on a project like this, we had an open contract with National Streetscape. And then as far as needing, there's a tight time frame on getting a project started on that Boone Hayes Park because of the similar work that's being done as far as drive approaches, trail work, that sort of thing, concrete, asphalt work. We're able to add on to that existing contract. And so that's what we've done with these. As far as initiating it, you know, we get estimates from the contractor as far as what, you know, we tell them what quantities we need, we get cost estimates back, and then we say, yeah, go ahead and add this
So are
on.
these things that they didn't foresee, or these new things?
No, these are added projects, added pieces of a project. So we had a large contract with National Streetscape for parking lots and curbs and drives all over town.
Okay.
We've added in 2 additional pieces, one over at Roanoke and then one down here at Boone Hayes Park. And so that's what you see before you today, so.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm glad that we're doing something with this park. It's a neat historical area here in our city that I don't think a lot of people know about, so I'm glad that we're doing something
Yeah.
there, so
Of course.
appreciate that.
Very good. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a motion and seconded? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 29866, the approval of gifts and contributions.
Yes, Commissioners, the 3 gifts is spelled out in the memo in front of you. Recommend acceptance.
Very good, that's pretty straightforward. Any questions of Mark on this? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to accept the gifts?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. On to the director's report.
Yes, Travis, Major Construction.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. You
Afternoon,
should
sir.
have a couple of packages of photos in front of you, the top of which on the first one looks like this. This is the 9th and Van Brunt Sports Field project. And that's construction of an ADA ramp up along 9th Street on that project, that first photo. You can see the truncated domes and so forth that are part of the ADA requirements. Next photo is some of the landscaping work and fill work around the amphitheater, in between the parking lot and the amphitheater on that project. Next was not much to see, drywall installation on the concession building itself, and then finally the concession building is the last photo on that. You'll get to see the finished product next week. I believe 29th is the opening.
How are we looking on that? Looking ready to go, right, on the 29th?
Ready to roll.
Fantastic. It's fantastic.
The next packet is the parking, sidewalk and curb improvements over at Van Brunt Park. That's located at the northwest corner of 17th Terrace and Hardesty Avenue. That first photograph, you're looking to the west down 17th Terrace. Hardesty runs north and south right in front of you here. You can see where the curb has been extended out into 17th Terrace to allow for parking behind that curb. It allows for parking for 3 to 4 vehicles along the street. The curb itself was raised. We had a lot of issues with people driving directly into the park in that location. And so by installing a curb that met our standards, met our requirements, that's a 7-inch curb out there, and hopefully that'll deter some of that driving directly into the park in that location. Sidewalks then were extended to, the playground equipment and also down the street to cross 17th Terrace itself. You can see that curb as it extends down Hardesty on the second photo. Third photo is the sidewalk within the park running up to the playground equipment and then over to the crossing on 17th Terrace, and then the last one is the crossing itself
Travis, how
to
new is
get you
that
across the
playground-
street.
That playground equipment.
How big,
How new?
how new,
It's fairly new.
I don't have an exact date on it,
Yeah.
but it is in good shape.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Probably less than 5 years.
Yeah, it's probably about 3 years old.
That's about a $43,000 improvement there.
Right.
And that should take care of the one, there were a lot of issues about parking and then the destruction of the park with the parking the way it was taking place, and also providing ADA access to that park from the curbs and so forth. So hopefully we've addressed all those with that project. So any questions on those?
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you. Heidi, I think you're up to bat, marketing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Well, our extremely busy June is about to come to a conclusion, which is kind of nice. We'll have a little bit of a break, a couple weeks in July, but it picks right back up again. As you know, since the last time we met, you may or may not have heard that the Blazing Paddles did not win. We did not defend our championship in the Dragon Boat races.
You're kidding.
On June the 10th. It was not, I think we may have been a little overconfident in our shirt design, which was made by Pat Herter right there, who designed our shirts. If you haven't seen them, I'll show you one. They're really cool. They're tattoo-like in nature, and they featured the Grim Reaper. So we didn't quite back that up. But we did have a lot of fun. The Rotary Club won. So congratulations to them.
KU team.
We did beat the KU team. That is the main thing. It didn't count for anything, but we did beat them.
Counted for pride.
Exactly. So thank you for being part of that team. I hope you had an enjoyable time.
I did.
Okay. We also, this past weekend, had our City of Fountains bike ride, the Ride the Fountains, which, as you know, is the third year we've done this with the Public Works Department and the Kansas City Metro Bike Club. We had about 400 riders out there. It was a beautiful day. Of course, it was Sunday. It was Father's Day. And we did switch it up a little this year, or actually a lot this year, with having each of the 3 routes start at different times so that everybody ended back at the park at the same time. In the past, all the 10, the 24, and the 46 milers had all just left at 7:30 in the morning, and that was it. But this time we had them stagger start at 7:39 and 9:15 so that everybody came back around 11, and we had an after party. And it was a lot more fun. People stuck around. It was pretty amazing. We had a great band. We had really good food by La Bodega. We had a photo booth there. We had the picnic project. So there was a lot of things to do. And we did have quite a few kids there as well. So I know Steve rode in it, and we had several other staff people ride in it as well. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback. And next year, Mark, you have to be here.
My plan.
He missed it this year. We did all of this for him. Anyway, gave you the flyer of Concert in the Park. I think you've seen that before, but this is coming up with the Roanoke Park Conservancy and the UMKC Conservatory. And it's going to be a nice little jazz concert, mostly geared toward the neighborhood, but obviously free and open to the public on the 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. And then July begins National Parks and Recreation Month, which is, the best month of the year. And we'll have our party in the park toward the end of the month to celebrate that. Something else that we do, and I'm not sure that you guys were around last year at this time when we did our employee appreciation ice cream. You may have just been on the board, but you're certainly welcome. We go around for 1 week to each of the district offices and have employees make their own sundaes, ice cream sundaes, and just show them how much we appreciate them during National Parks and Recreation Month. Steve makes fun of the way I say sundaes. So you guys we'll get you a schedule. It's 2:30 to 3:30 from that Tuesday to Friday. We'll start at the central region, then go south, north, and here at administration. And it's just a good way for you guys to come out, eat some ice cream, and show all the employees how much you appreciate their hard work. We have the other thing that I handed out to you was the copy of the email invitation that just went out this morning for the 9th and Van Brunt Athletic Fields opening. That's going to be kind of fun too. It's kind of a big event, obviously. It's a beautiful facility. The actual ribbon cutting is going to be at 7 o'clock on Friday night, so it will come after the first games for the mayor, between the first and second game for Mayor's Night Kicks. We did that to accommodate Congressman Cleaver, who will be coming in for the event. We also will have the mayor there as well, and several city council members, and hopefully any of you that can be in attendance, because it's going to be fun. I think we're going to go ahead and have a band there. Titan Construction sponsoring hot dogs and chips and beverages for everybody. So it should be kind of a festival party atmosphere that eevening. That's all I have.
Exciting. Thank you. Any
Okay.
questions, comments?
Start off Dragon Boat.
Yeah. Well, it's because we were missing you on the team, man. That's what it was. There you
Did you? Yeah, that event, I'm sorry. That event starts, it's June 29th. The pre-party starts at 4:30. 4:30 to 7 will be the picnic. The first Mayor's Night Kick game starts at 6, and then the dedication at 7. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, you have a memo regarding the National Register for our Park and Boulevard system. We talked about this before. A panel was put together under the leadership of Steve Lampone, along with Ann McFerrin, who's our project manager on that, and then Brad Wolf, and Ann O'Hara participated in that selection process, and working closely with Denise in our contract management division. And the team that they've recommended for selection, Donna Boley, Deanna Wolfenberger, and former employee Mike Herron. And we would move then forward to have a contract at some time in the future. And if you have any more questions beyond that, Steve, I'm sure can answer them.
All right. Any questions? Oh, Steve? All right, very good. Thank you. Next item is on public hearing. Right now, we do not have anybody signed up, but I saw there's some guests here today. Were you all here to make any public comment? You're all interns, is that what it is? Oh, okay. I just heard that from my fellow commissioner, Brian. Just want to make sure I saw him come in. So we've had that happen in the past, but thank you all for being interns here and helping out, and you're more than welcome to say anything if you want to. But, with that, we'll look forward to looking at the calendar review next.
Yes, a couple things. Heidi's covered some of the more fun stuff, and a couple things that are coming up. Tomorrow we have a couple board meetings, a couple of our key partner organizations, the City of Fountains Foundation Board meeting. I believe President Sharon is going to attend that, and then I believe Commissioner Dillingham is going to attend the FOTS board meeting. That wraps out this week, and then Starlight Theater has their board meeting on the 26th, and hopefully that fits Commissioner McLean Bryant's schedule on the 26th. And then, as Heidi mentioned earlier, the Van Brunt 9th athletic fields. Then, of course, we're quickly into the month of July. course, the holiday's coming up on the 4th, and then, of course, the All-Star Game is coming up right after that. That'll carry us all the way through, and our next board meeting is on the 10th. And then Platte County Partners on the 11th. So anyway, that's what the next month's looking like.
Okay. Very good. Anything else? All right, with that, I think we want to,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we go in a closed session to discuss legal, real estate, and personnel issues.
very good. I'd ask that every commissioner sort of, well, we need a sort of motion, and to be seconded at this point.
Second.
All right, it's been seconded, and everybody just will, we vote one at a time, so.
Yes.
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 Okay, very good. We're going to go ahead and go into executive session then at this time. Thank you.